Welcome to episode 39 of Get to Know Your Nation. Scotland. Scotland. Scotland? Welcome back to the World Cup for the first time since 1998. Your ninth World Cup appearance. They made their debut in 1954, 1958, 1974, 1978, 1982, 1986, 1990, and 1998. You know who was the hero in that during that qualifiers? Thanks Scott McTominay and his bicycle goal to send the Tart Army back to the global stage of the World Cup. Congratulations. They are led by coach Steve Clarke, who has 33 wins, 16 draws, 27 losses, and he's trying to lead the Tartan Army to their first knockout stage in nation's history. They have never been to the knockouts before, and they're hoping that this year can be a better year for knockout stage. So we'll see. But those 27 wins, they need to be those 27 losses. Sorry, they need to be wins than losses. So players to watch, obviously, I mentioned earlier, Scott McTominay. Who did not saw this coming? A bicycle goal against Austria. I'm assuming this was against Austria or someone else, but that bicycle kick was huge against Austria. If it's Austria, then yeah, what a goal for Scott McTominay. Now he's doing tremendously with Napoli midfielder who is 29 years old. He's a really good midfielder for this team. Other midfields I'm going to just include is McGibbon, who scored 3 goals in their 4-0 win against Nottingham Forest in that semifinal against Europa League. He's a great captain for the Scottish, and I think he can do something great for the Tartan Army. Andrew Robertson, the left back for Liverpool, 32 years old, still young, of course. He's going to do a lot of defending on the left side as a left back, and it's a real task for him because in the group that they are, it's going to be a lot of challenging. Che Adams, forward for Toronto, who he was with Southampton, left to City with Toronto, and he's been really good there with Toronto. Now, 29 years old. There's going to be questions about their strikers and their left wings and right wings. Who is going to step up for this year's World Cup? Now, Scott McTominay is an attacking midfielder. He can score goals, but somebody at striker has to step up for the national team. But I think Che Adams could be the one who could step up. Their goalkeeper is Angus Gunn, goalkeeper from Nottingham Forest, who is a backup, 30 years old. Now, not sure if he's the starting goalkeeper for the national team, but if he is, he's going to have a lot of tasks for prevailing those goal scorers for the two nations that can score goals and one that is making his debut or first appearance since 1958. So let's go over their Group C. They start off against Haiti, then Morocco, then Brazil. Their best scenario is if they beat Haiti, a draw with Morocco, and then draw. Let's say they draw with Brazil. That's 5 points. That could be a third place spot, and I think their best scenario is I would give them round of 16. Depends on how they play in their group and maybe the knockout stage. I think round of 16 is their best scenario. Their worst scenario, they still beat Haiti, they lose to Morocco, and they lose to Brazil. It's 3 points? Yes. Third place, best of third? No. It will not send them to the knockout stage, and they will send them home early. I think the game to watch, I would love to see this one. Scotland versus Brazil. The 5-time world champions going up against a nation that has promise with these young talent players. It would be a fun one to watch. Morocco Scotland would be another fun one because yes, I already mentioned in the Morocco video, They got a new coach. There's going to be questions on the nation and can they recap their magic from 2022 to this World Cup. But Scotland, on the other hand, there's an opportunity for them. They could get second place. But I think they'll be a third place team, and I think they'll be one of the best of third place teams. And I think the best scenario I mentioned, round of 16 is where I look at it. Couple things before wrap up this episode 39. Really, real question for Scotland is going to be this: is there a young generation player to step up for the national team? There has to be someone in that Scotland national team who's going to have to step up for this year's World Cup. And plus, how much pressure is Steve Clarke for his job? Yes, even though he's taken this nation to this year's World Cup, I still think it's going to feel a lot more pressure with him because, yes, even though 33 wins, 16 draws are good, but 27 losses are not very well. And those losses came from Europe or things didn't go well in their friendlies. So we'll see. I think Scotland, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be one of those best third place teams, and I think they can get to the round of 16 as the best scenario. But I think my prediction would be they beat Haiti, I think draw with Morocco, and I think draw with Brazil or lose to Brazil, in which it would just be 4 points, and I think they can still make it to third place and get to the knockout stage. Episode 40 will be an underdog team that I mentioned in the last videos, Senegal. If you haven't seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.